What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first episode of our FIFA 21 sort of Road to Glory with Leeds United. This is kind of just like a stopgap until next gen comes out because we're not going to be able to carry over the career mode data from old gen to next gen. So it's kind of let's just see how well we can do until we hit the stride of next generation consoles. But I might continue this whilst we do that one. So it might be a little bit of you'll see a couple of episodes popping up here and there, but I'm looking forward to this because I like Leeds, and obviously they're meant to struggle considering they just come up, but they have not. First thing that is changed in FIFA 21 is that we get some youth players straight off the bat. Some of these guys are crap, like this goalkeeper, so we're just going to refuse him really. Like, we don't need him straight away. If, like, say, we were a lower league team, some of these players would probably come straight in and start playing. So now we're going to quickly have a look at applying some development plans to these youth players because we can then slightly boost the stats. This is kind of how training has changed this year. You no longer have the ability just to train all your player or like 5 players on one task. So it's kind of your youth have to have the development plan to actually develop this season. So it's quite cool. Like, we can make a CDM, a centre back if we really wanted to, or like a left mid, a left back. And once we get into the team, you'll see that I fiddle around with some of the positions that I want some of the players to be playing in because it will fit the formation better and they won't lose points or rating value whilst we're playing them out of position. So it helps with that. And like, we have 2 cams here, like they might have different strengths or weaknesses, so it makes us be able to have the variation. So like, one's actually really good at dribbling, we might be able to push him onto the wing and make him like an inverted winger or like a wide winger, whereas like this cam, I'm pretty sure I want him to be the attacking midfielder, as like we see his passing's good, not as good as shooting. And I think he's the opposite. His passing's not as good as his shooting, so he might want to be like a centre forward in the future or something, but I'm going to chuck on the dynamo just to get some boosted stats quickly. So yeah, that's how everything's changed. This is what our tasks are for the year really, or for the season, or for some seasons they have changed some of these up massively, which is really good. I like it that we're going to have to focus on the youth and domestic side this year, especially for Leeds. It's just don't get relegated and bring in, I think it's a crucial centre back for our team. But obviously financial's not too important with literally they've spent so much money in this transfer season in real life. Important thing is to always hire a youth scout. It looks like we also get given one for free, even though they don't look the best. They're only 2-star, but we've picked up on a 4 and a 5-star scout, so we're going to just send them to like Wales for 6 months, get some players, see if we can get some good quality players, and we'll send this guy to England because he's English. I think that if they go to their home area, they always tend to chuck a bit better players back. We're going to quickly sort out our budget because we had so much in wage and not much in the transfer budget, so we've got a bit more to work with now, and you will see that we make our first signing this season after letting go, I think, of 1 or 2 players for transfers, just because Leeds do have quite a few old players that won't play permanently throughout the season, so I thought I'd get rid of some of them. As you'll see me going through here, I'll be like doing development plans, listing them for either loan or transfer, but you'll see I'm changing Aloski from left back to left mid because I feel like he'll be a great third choice or even second choice because we have like Rafinha and Costa, and Aloski will fill in that void of being left back as well. Well, and as left mid. Just working through the current squad for Leeds, they really do have quite a few old players, especially looking at their defence. So I understand why they've given us the target of signing a crucial centre back. We have like a few starters, like I like Dallas, I like Ailing. Obviously, we've got Lorente, and we've also got Robin Koch, I think it is, or however it's said, who will also be like our first team centre back. So we do kind of need like that third choice in there because like it might be that we move Cock to the bench and give him some rotational play, because obviously we're going to have to play morale, sharpness, and I think it's fitness. All three of those have to be really well managed this season, so we're going to have to play a bit better, rotate through the centre backs. Also, I'm moving Shackleton to right back because we don't really have a good spare right back. We have Ayling, who will be the first choice, but I think he's played as right back in previous FIFAs, and he's also played it in games. I think like he comes on halfway through, so he's not going to be a bad choice, and he's also already at the club, so it makes sense to try and keep him in the club, because centre mids are going to be coming in and out all the time, because I'm listing like Hernandez and Forshaw, the two old ones, so I'll be looking to get in like a higher rated centre mid that will play alongside some of the other guys we already have in the place. Calendar hasn't changed too much. They've added scheduling rules, and that means that we can choose like what happens the day before a match, day after a match, and how often training occurs. I'm going to chuck in training, I think, for every single day up until the Prem starts, just to get a higher sharpness and try and get through some of these training activities, because some of them are really hard, and once you've got obviously a high grade, you can then sim and just change the players and then sim through them to give them the best opportunity possible. Jumping into our first preseason game against Parma, we get our first goal coming from Rodrigo. So great signing for Leeds already. He's getting the first goal. I apologise, I have left commentary on, so if you hear anything, I apologise. I will try and turn it down as much as I can. Parma get an equalising goal just before half time, but we'll jump into the second half. We're conceding our second goal in the 72nd minute, and we're approaching the end of the game, and that is it. We lose 2-1. We had the most possession, we had more shots, but we just couldn't convert, so a bit disappointing. But first game, we can weed out the problems going into our second game against Genk. Get to see both teams starting 11 before we start the simulation for the match, and we get this nice little animation while the players, what would have been called warming up, so probably load in, and the game's probably already determining who wins, who loses. But obviously we'll see here we get the first opportunity in the game, created by none other than Rafinha, taking around the goalkeeper to put it into the back of the net, put us 1-0 up against Genk. Now we see a second goal being created by Costa, so both wingers have scored. Are they going to be our first choices moving into the Premier League? We do suddenly concede a goal just before half time, yes again, so we get sloppy towards the middle of the match. As we encroach the end of the game, we were pushing forward, but not much can happen from there, and that's how the game ends, 2-1, with us taking not the 3 points, but the win, I guess. We're having less possession, so maybe we were a bit more better at counter-attacking. Moving into the game against Brentford, this will probably be the best test because they are in the championship, so they're closest team related to us. We get the first opportunity of the game with the goal coming from Costa to put us 1-0 up. Brentford do have a player I'm really interested in, which is Josh Da Silva, who actually gets the equalising goal there. I've started to scout him already, so we might be seeing a transfer coming in from, or even a loan. We're trying to get another goal, but as we approach the end of the game, no one manages to, and we get a draw. So obviously we don't go through, but we've already had the run out, and we've seen where we're not so strong, so it gives me a good idea of who to bring in. So we're moving on a transfer for Josh Da Silva. He is only 21 years of age. He is 72. I'm hoping that I'll be able to swatch him for someone and maybe give them some money to be like, yeah, take that and take our crappy player that I don't want anymore. So we are looking to transfer Cooper out and give them like say 3 mil, but I'm pretty sure they decline that. They're saying they don't want Cooper. So we are going to have to look for a different player. Maybe we have a different centre-back we can give them, but Brady's probably the only other good option. We'll see if they take 3 mil with Brady, but the likelihood is they won't. But we don't know, they might need it because they did obviously not get promoted this season, unlike us. Looking at the goalkeepers, don't really want to give them one of them. We'll have a quick look at left backs, and I found Douglas, who is not going to play. He's worth a lot more than the other two players, and if we give them like 3 mil, maybe a bit more, and sell on cause, they might actually take it. And they seem to take this offer, so let's try and sign him on a contract. He's going to want a rotation, so not too bad actually. I thought he might want to be crucial or something, so that's a plus for us. 4 years, take him to be about 25. Then we can obviously decide if we want to keep him or if he even wants to stay. He doesn't want a release clause, so that's a plus for us, but his wages are quite a large sum of money, so I'm going to try and bring them down a little bit, maybe to about 28. Considering he wants a sign-on bonus, it's 290,000, so 28k a week. Bring down his appearance bonuses as well, because obviously that's quite a bit of money, but I hope he does accept it. So we have our newest player, which is Josh Da Silva. Get a look at our first scout reports, and it looks like we have found some gems from Wales anyway. We've got 81 to 94 potential player, so I'm going to be snapping those boys up very quickly into the youth academy, I would class it as. England players are not as good, so maybe send them back for a bit, but let's go and have a look at those players we just managed to pull in. So we have got Ryan Wright, who can play either on the left or the right wing, and he is left footed. He's got 3-star skill moves, 5-star weak foot, so technically either foot is his best foot. We're just going to look at which development plan will fit him the best. Contemplating, I think, between going for that inverted winger or wide winger, because obviously we're playing, I think it's 4-1-4-1, so we don't have the players pushing up top, but we will be having players wanting to push in, but wide winger is what we go for in the end. And we also have Kieran Pugh, who we will take a look at right now and also choose on his development plan. He's got 2-star weak foot and I think it's 5-star skill moves, so he's going to be very skillful, so we are probably going to try and keep him as either a supportive or a wide midfielder. We go with the supportive, so hopefully we'll be able to see him develop over time, and we accept a transfer offer for Pablo Hernandez as he is at 35. Jumping into our first Premier League game against Chelsea, so we'll see their starting 11 and then we'll move on to seeing ours. Obviously this is a very big first game of the season for us, and I think we're probably going to struggle. Most likely going to get dominated on by Chelsea. They probably are going to come away with the win, but if we can manage a draw, I will take that, especially against Chelsea, as we will be seen as the weaker side. This is our starting 11. We get Da Silva starting, making his Premier League debut. He has never played in the Premier League before, and quite a few of these players haven't either. Chelsea are on the attack in the first couple of minutes, and we've managed to give a penalty away with Koch giving away performing a very stupid tackle on, I think it was Kante. We've got to be a bit more careful around the back now, but yeah, here goes to their penalty, I guess. It's going to be Werner stepping up to take this penalty. The first challenge of the Premier League is to see if we can keep a clean sheet from the spot, and we can, because Werner has magically put the ball wide, so it might have been a bit pressure for him being his Premier League debut as well. And we managed to pick up a goal before Chelsea has, and it is our debutant Josh Da Silva with a beautiful header beating the Chelsea defenders to the ball, and we have managed to get the lead in this game, which is very surprising and probably a great turn of events for us, but not good for Chelsea, so I expect we're going to get hit back up. Beautiful cross into the box and a beautiful header. Somehow the Chelsea defenders were just not marking him well enough, and he just nicks it past Kepa, which again is not a surprise considering his form in real life, and I don't understand why Chelsea haven't replaced him in the game. They should have Mendy, because I updated the squads after the transfer window closed, and I did start this well after that. Chelsea managed to get a goal, but it is offside for Pulisic, thankfully, but shows you that they are actually pushing and they want this equalising goal because they really need it, because otherwise this is a bad start for them. And here we are, we're going to take a beautiful kick from the spot, and Kiko Kasile masses up massively, gives it to Werner, and Werner gives it easily to the back of the net to make it 1-1 just before, I think, half time. So not great play right before half time, but it seems to be where we always just give the ball away and give the goal away at half time. But beautiful finish from Werner for his first goal in the Premier League. Just a shame it comes from a stupid mistake from Kiko Casilla. Maybe we're going to have to play Meisler, I think it is, in goal a bit more. He's been dominating in real life, so maybe let's see how he's going to do in FIFA. Into the second half, and Chelsea again, another attack with Werner trying to take the ball away, nearly risking a red card and another penalty, but Werner manages to find the net, still being unfazed from the two Leeds defenders trying to block him out, really. Beautiful finish from Werner. Not the best goalkeeping or defending from us. We just create a massive pocket for him to run into. So it was pretty much set up for him to just bury it in the back of the net. Now it is 2-1 Chelsea. To be honest, if we can get the equalising goal, I will feel very happy with the lads. But I'm not going to be disappointed if we can't, to say that, because we are the weaker side going into this game. But Patrick Bamford is on, and he just manages to put it wide. Would have been an amazing start for him, and Patrick Bamford is through on goal and managed to get it past Kepa for his first goal of the season in the Premier League. And we are now drawing against Chelsea in the 77th minute. Beautiful play from the Leeds players and a beautiful finish from Patrick Bamford, making up for his miscued shot previously. But beautiful play, a couple of passes to get around the Chelsea defence, and Patrick was in on goal. Quite a tight angle, actually, looking at it from here, but to be honest, Kepa should have had that covered, but I'm glad he didn't. So 2-2. Let's see if either team can take the win, but when most likely not, we're going to get a chance from Patrick here in the last couple of minutes, and we do lose possession. I think we're just going to try and take a random shot just to see if we could get like a wonder goal or anything, but heading into the last minute of the game, Chelsea are pushing forward. We can't let them get anywhere into our third. Ref has given an advantage though, but Casilla comes and picks up the ball and kicks it up the other end, and that's how the game ends. We pick up our first point in the Premier League, and we also manage a draw. Lads played very well. I think we just need to work on defending and even goalkeeping, whether or not that means bringing in a new goalkeeper or even just trying to push our goalkeepers to do better. That concludes our first episode of our new series in FIFA 21 with Leeds United. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, leave any comments, any players you think we should be looking at. I will look into as many as I possibly can. And I just want to say thank you for watching and hope to see you again in episode number